As much criticism as I receive about my son, I would like to shed light on the fact.
Ain't nobody getting nothing going. Nothing. Call who you need to call, do what you need to do.
We all got bad ass kids, okay? Now listen, don't make anybody with 3 or more.
With multiples.
You got one that you don't know what the hell you gonna do with.
Right.
You feel me?
Yeah.
You going to prison if you keep it up.
T.A.'s worst fear? It might just be unfolding right in front of him. For years, Tip's been sounding the alarm, telling his son King Harris to slow down before life hit him with something he couldn't walk away from. Now, that warning looks more like a prophecy, because word on the street is that a judge might hit King with a 5-year sentence. 5 whole years. What's crazy is, T.I. saw this coming all the way back in 2022. He literally said if King didn't fix up, he'd end up in real trouble. And let's be honest, can anybody act shocked at this point? King's been wilding out in public like consequences didn't exist. From that Waffle House fight that had everybody talking, to flexing what looked like weapons in his videos, to stunting behind the wheel like traffic laws were just suggestions. Each situation was like a warning shot, but nobody around him was hitting the brakes. And now, it ain't just a small flame anymore, it's a full-on blaze. The 2024 arrest footage says it all. Cops rolled up on King driving like he owned the whole highway, and get this, he almost crashed right into a police cruiser. When they finally stopped him, what they found had the internet in a chokehold, weed in the ride, a strap on his waist, and then boom! An old warrant from 2022 reappears out of nowhere like a bad flashback. It was like every messy move he made the past few years came crashing down in that one moment. Like time finally caught up. And now people are asking the tough questions.
Harris?
You know T.I.?
Huh?
T.I.?
Who's that?
That's my
No,
father.
I know it. Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Didn't he just retire? Or
Yeah.
say he gonna retire?
Yeah.
Okay. How old are you, man?
20.
20?
How did it get this far? Was it fame? Was it ego? Or was King just trying too hard to build his own lane, even if it meant wrecking the one his father paved? T.I. is now staring at a truth no father wants to face. His own son, King Harris, is standing one step away from a possible 5-year prison sentence. This ain't just some random twist of fate. This is the exact outcome Tip tried to prevent. For years, he warned everyone, especially King, that the wild lifestyle, the risky choices, the attitude like rules didn't apply, it would all catch up eventually. And now, that warning is echoing louder than ever. It all exploded back in October 2024 when King found himself in serious trouble with the law. It started with what looked like a careless move. He was pulling out of a gas station in his BMW and nearly slammed into a police cruiser. That moment flipped everything upside down. The cops jumped into action.
Yes, sir.
There's one in the head.
Does your buddy have one as well?
It's guns in here.
All right, just hang tight right here for me. Let me clear this. I don't want any accidental fires.
First thing they noticed, the heavy smell of weed floating out the window. Then came the kicker. King had a piece sitting right on his hip, out in the open like he wasn't worried about a thing. But the worst part wasn't even what they found in the car. It's what they found in the system when they ran his ID. Boom, up pops a warrant going all the way back to 2022. And this wasn't some small-time ticket. That warrant came from a string of charges: speeding, driving with a suspended license, and a DUI. The real twist? King never showed up to court. He straight up skipped out and let the case sit in the shadows for 2 whole years. He was cuffed right then and there. No delays, no second chances. King Harris was first booked at DeKalb County Jail, then shipped over to Pickens County to deal with that old warrant that had finally caught up with him. And the arrest report? Cold, straight to the point. One officer wrote, "I informed Mr. Harris that I would need to speak with him outside and opened the driver's side door. Mr. Harris was cooperative, and I removed the firearm from his hip with no issue. I then had Mr. Harris step out of the vehicle, and I detained him by placing handcuffs on him." That's how official it was. No struggle, no drama, just King being quietly taken in like the weight of it had finally settled. But the real storm hit just a few hours later, when the footage of King being pulled from his BMW and walked to the squad car in cuffs started spreading online. It blew up quick. Fans who were used to seeing him flexing on Instagram, posing with high-end whips, cash, and diamond grills, were now staring at him in an orange jumpsuit.
So what they say my warrant for?
So your warrant is for a failure to appear. Dispatch is going to call in and make sure it's still valid.
Failure to appear where? I didn't have no court dates.
It's for a DUI out of Pickens County.
Out of Pickens County?
32. Could you go and confirm that warrant?
The only DUI, I had a suspicion of a DUI a long time ago and it was dismissed.
Sitting behind bars with nothing but his choices echoing around him. For T.I., though, this moment wasn't some shock. It was the nightmare he's been calling out for years. Back in 2022, Tip and King went head-to-head on Instagram Live in a raw father-son clash. And during that heated moment, Tip let the truth fly. He told King that the road he was on could only lead to two places: locked up or in serious danger. He even dropped a number: 5 years. He said it with that look only a parent who's terrified for their child can give. Now that warning don't feel like a scare tactic. It sounds like a straight-up prediction. Over time, King's image started shifting more and more. From spoiled celeb kid to full-on rebel, he threw hands at a Waffle House, posted guns in his videos, and constantly showed off habits his parents warned him about. He wasn't just ignoring the advice, he was rejecting it, loud and proud. What some folks brushed off as just teenage rebellion, T.I. saw for what it really was, a dangerous spiral. And the reason it hit so hard? Because it was a reflection of his own past. T.I.'s not just speaking from the sidelines here.
Nothing's in there. Come back so we can figure out what the fuck I got going on. It's nothing in the fucking car.
He's lived this life. Back in the late 2000s, Tip did time for serious charges, and it was that experience that changed everything for him. He didn't just bounce back, he rebuilt. From rapper to actor to respected voice in his community, T.I. used those hard lessons to shape a new path. And when King started showing signs of drifting, Tip was right there, trying to hand those lessons down before it was too late. But like so many sons who think they know better, King wasn't trying to hear it. I once said that time would end up being King's real teacher. Back then, it sounded like tough love. Now, it sounds like a prophecy that's coming true in real time. King Harris is now facing a harsh reality, a potential 5-year sentence that could stop everything in its tracks. For years, Tip's warnings were brushed off as dramatic, controlling, or just another celebrity dad trying to manage his image. But the way things are unfolding, it's starting to look like those warnings were the last bit of real advice King had left. And let's be real, King's behavior didn't just pop up overnight. It's been playing out in the public eye for a minute. From the reckless driving clips that had fans clutching their phones in disbelief, to the escalating drama online, there's been a pattern building. Then came that Waffle House moment. King was caught on camera, locked in a heated back and forth, chest out, shouting, fully in it. No filters, no security cleaning things up.
And it will be used against you in the court of law. You have the right to talk to a lawyer and have him or her present with you while you're being questioned. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed to represent you before any questioning if you wish. You can decide at any time to exercise these rights and not answer any of my questions or make any statements.
What could have been a simple disagreement turned into a full-blown viral mess. 1 minute, it was just words. The next, King Harris was being blasted all over the internet as entitled, aggressive, and out of control. Even T.I. himself stepped back and admitted he couldn't make sense of his son's behavior that night. It wasn't about being tough or misunderstood. It looked more like a mix of ego, pride, and not thinking things through. But if that moment raised eyebrows, what happened next set off full-blown alarms. King was seen on camera during a music video shoot, standing right next to Boozie's son, Tootie Rowe, both of them waving around props that looked like firearms. The whole vibe? Playing up a street image like it was a movie scene. But this wasn't acting. It felt like they were chasing a lifestyle their fathers had spent years running from. Fans weren't the only ones disturbed. T.I. and Boozy saw it too, and it shook them. These were two men who had really lived that life, faced real consequences, and paid real prices. They stepped in immediately, trying to steer their sons away from repeating the same mistakes. They didn't sugarcoat anything either. They hit them with truth, straight up. But it was becoming clearer by the day. King wasn't listening. This wasn't just one bad choice. It was a series of risky moves, stacking up fast. King was pushing limits, ignoring advice, and rejecting the structure his parents were trying so hard to hold up. For T.I., the pain hits different because he's been in those courtrooms.
No, ain't no joking. Ain't no joking. What do you mean?
You are embarrassing yourself and your family, nigga. You embarrassing yourself. You are embarrassing yourself. You are embarrassing yourself.
He's walked through those prison gates. He's seen careers and lives get derailed over one decision. But like T.I. once admitted, some lessons only time can teach. No matter how big the name, how deep the experience, or how loud the warnings, there are some roads a person insists on walking themselves. And that's exactly what makes King Harris's story even more layered. Just weeks after his October 2024 arrest, life threw him a twist he never expected. He became a father. Yep, in November, King welcomed his baby boy into the world. He didn't stay quiet about it either. He was proud. He posted about it, showed love online, and even dropped a track called Dear Son, where he rapped about breaking cycles and becoming the kind of father he never had to question. For a second, people started to hope. Maybe this was it. Maybe fatherhood would be the wake-up call that finally hit different. For a brief moment, it looked like King was ready to switch gears, but that hope was short-lived. The joy of bringing a new life into the world was quickly buried under legal pressure. Court dates were stacking up. Arrest records were still in headlines. And that 5-year sentence, it wasn't going away. Instead of rocking his newborn to sleep, King was being rocked by a justice system that doesn't care about family milestones. And that's where the situation hit a whole new level.
So what I'm saying is, they wasn't.
You can talk like that outside.
Hey, I can talk how the fuck I want to, wherever I'm at. I'm on live, shawty. Stop talking to me. Stop talking to me. This ain't your fucking restaurant. This ain't your fucking restaurant. Everything you make, I can pull out my pocket right now. I ain't tripping on you. I ain't tripping. Get the hell out of my face.
One minute he was rapping about growth and responsibility. The next, he was facing real consequences that could keep him away from his child for years. It was a painful contrast, celebrating fatherhood while staring down the possibility of missing out on those first steps, first words, first everything. The internet had a field day with it. Social media lit up with opinions. Some people immediately blamed T.I., calling him out as a failed father, like years of trying to guide King didn't matter. But others took a different angle, showing compassion. They pointed out how being a parent, especially under the spotlight, comes with no manual. Even with money and fame, raising a strong-willed kid isn't easy. The internet went into overdrive, and the convo was split right down the middle. On one side, folks were cracking jokes, clowning King Harris for the downfall they said he brought on himself. They pointed out the irony, flexing stacks, luxury cars, and props that looked like guns online, only to be the one sitting in the back of a cop car hours later. The memes flew fast. But under all the laughs, there was also a deeper discussion brewing. Some people held on to hope, saying this might be the wake-up call he needed, that maybe, just maybe, becoming a dad would finally shift King's mindset, not just for his own future, but for his son's too. A lot of folks were rooting for him to break the cycle and rise above the drama. Then there was the arrest footage itself, cold, clear, and impossible to ignore. King didn't act panicked or angry. He was calm, too calm. Some viewers even said he looked like he was playing to the camera, like he knew his moment was about to go viral. The way he moved, The way he kept his composure, it had people wondering if this was part of the image he'd been building all along. And that's where the real question started. Was King chasing fame at any cost? Was the wild behavior online and off just a performance to stay relevant, even if it meant being known for the wrong reasons?
He tried to shield King from that reality by offering guidance, discipline, and even public warnings. But as he once admitted, sometimes only time can teach lessons that no parent, no matter how famous or experienced, can get across.
Or was this the struggle of a young man stuck in between, born into fame, but drawn to an image of toughness and survival he didn't actually have to live? Either way, this ain't just a story about court dates and handcuffs. This is about legacy, identity, and what happens when two worlds, privilege and pressure, collide. For T.I., who's long spoken about how prison shaped him, the situation feels way too familiar. This whole situation feels like a painful déjà vu for T.I. He's being forced to relive the same chapters he once barely survived. Only this time, it's not him in the spotlight, it's his son. After years of trying to steer King in a better direction, offering wisdom earned the hard way, T.I. is now watching the very cycle he hoped to break play out all over again. For Tip, this isn't just frustrating, it's heartbreaking. This chapter in his life as a father cuts deeper than most. He's always stood firm on the importance of discipline, responsibility, and learning from your mistakes before the world teaches you the hard way. He's said it over and over. Fame and fortune don't protect you from consequences. In fact, they make the fall even harder if you're not careful. I warned King that all the cars, clout, and cash could disappear in a flash if he kept ignoring the signs. And now, as his son stares down possible prison time, those warnings feel like echoes that went unheard. If the judge ends up handing down the full 5-year sentence, it's not just going to be a legal hit. It'll be a loud, public reality check about what happens when no one puts the brakes on reckless choices early enough. This ain't just about clout chasing gone wrong or a viral moment that'll fade by next week. This is real life, real pain, real consequences. At the center of it all, a family trying to hold it together while the world watches, judges, and comments from behind their screens. Being a parent is already hard enough, but when you're T.I., every move your kid makes becomes a trending topic. Every mistake gets amplified, replayed, and turned into a headline. Online critics haven't held back either. Some are dragging T.I., saying he failed as a father. Others are straight up mocking King's downfall like it's entertainment. But behind all that noise is a dad, a son, and a legacy caught in the middle of a storm, trying to figure out what's next. So now it's your turn. What do you think about everything going down with King Harris? Is this a fall from grace? Or the wake-up call he needed? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay tapped in with everything unfolding in the world of hip-hop and beyond. We've always got the real, raw updates ready for you. See what's on our radar next.